Previously, Yūya is despised by everyone in life for his looks, even his nuclear family reject him. However, his granddad continued to care for him, giving him life advice to always help people. One day he kind of saves Kaori from some hooligans harassing her by taking a beat down. It is later revealed that his grandfather passed away and left his property to Yūya, which leads to his parents disowning him for not being able to access the inheritance. Left alone, unloved, and bullied, he gets frustrated and punches his bathroom wall, which leads to his grandfather's hidden antique room. He finds a door that leads to another fantasy world with magic and a system. He levels up there, but unbeknownst to him, his stats carry over to the real world, causing his body to transform into a Chad. When he returns to school, everyone is shocked, and his siblings are salty to see the change. The story continues as Yūya recalls Sage's writings on how magic is the realization of imagination. He puts that into practice along with some other principles, and to his surprise, he opens a portal that leads him directly to the middle of the forest. This means that he can go anywhere he has visited before as long as he can imagine the destination, though it is only limited to places he has personally been to. With this ability, it means that he can come back to the fantasy world from the real world by going through this magic gate. It is handy as he's also preparing for his school trip. He can come to check on Night while he's away. Since they find themselves outside, he decides to finish their exploration of the forest. The dynamic duo wander into a dark cave which Yūya illuminates using his magic. They pause for a moment when they stumble upon some goblins that they quickly dispatch with a combination attack. The Fenrir draws Yuya's attention to a pile of rare items which he places into his item box. The guy comments on how much better they are getting at fighting together, which Night agrees to. The duo make their way out of the cave and Yūya stretches as he concludes their exploration for the day, which upsets Night. However, when he explains that he must prepare for his school field trip, his partner understands. The Fenrir dashes off when something catches his attention. Yūya follows as Night asks him to erase his presence, which he swiftly does. They proceed forward and find Luna moderately injured, surrounded by several higher-level goblins. Yuya's Chadness manifests as there is a damsel in distress. He summons his weapon ready to intervene, but Night holds his cape, reminding him that it is not all females that need rising. He heeds the Fenrir's warning and hangs back, observing as Luna puts up decent resistance as she counters the leader's attacks, even taking his arm in the process. The battle continues as she uses her strings to block the assault from 3 lackeys, but it leaves her open to a mighty kick from the goblin leader, which sends her flying into a tree. The horde begin to jubilate as she lays there unconscious before the monster can finish her off. Yūya can't help himself, so he interferes and ends the leader. They soon realize that they are surrounded by a staggering number of high-level goblins. The goblins launch an attack, but he counters by pulling out a whip which he uses to restrain and constrict the majority. He is shocked by how overpowered the weapon is. All the while, Night finishes off the remaining. He takes Luna from the danger area and comments that since they have cleared most of the monsters in the zone, Owen and the others will find it easier on their next visit. His attention turns back to the girl as he wonders what to do with her and decides to bring her to the house so that he can tend to her wounds. Night gives a disapproving growl after hearing his plan. She gains consciousness just as Yūya questions the Fenrir. The lady is disorientated at first, but frantically requests the stranger to unhand her. She kicks and screams, causing Yūya to drop her as her head bounces off a tree. Luna's eyes start to tear up while she holds her head in pain. The Chad offers her some juice that can cure all things. He informs her that it will heal her wounds if she drinks it. The girl is hesitant and skeptical at first. Yūya even offers to take a sip to prove that it is safe to drink. She takes the risk and just decides to drink, and it pays off as her wounds begin to heal. Luna is amazed and wonders who Yūya is, so he uses it as an opportunity to introduce himself and Night. But the Fenrir is still very hostile towards her, which confuses his master. But Luna stares at the creature, knowing full well why it's wary of her. She also introduces herself and tells him that there is no need for them to be so formal. He takes advantage of the icebreaker and asks what brings her to such a dangerous place. She stammers a little before revealing that she was doing some training before getting attacked by the Goblin Elite Pack. Luna wonders what happened to them and Yūya tells her that he and Night defeated them. She is impressed with their strength and expresses her gratitude. She too wants to know what he's doing in the darkest regions. Her question catches him off guard as he also stammers before revealing that he's training too. She almost exposes herself as she's shocked that someone is training in such a place. It is obvious that they are both lying as they exchange a very guilty laugh. Luna shyly apologizes for making him carry her. She complains that she's completely filthy from all the running around. The girl prepares to look for a river to wash up. but Yūya insists that she use his portable bath. The guy sets it up with a privacy screen around it so that she can bathe in peace. He tells her that he acquired it from a crystal deer. She is shocked that he can defeat such a legendary monster and attributes it to his training. She mutters that she's not in the area to train, but to rather fulfill a customer's request. Luckily for her, Yūya didn't hear anything. An idea pops into her head. Since they are both training, Luna suggests that he accompany her in the training for a little while. Yūya feels guilty to turn her down, so he agrees to the arrangement, which gets her excited. Over the coming days, the trio venture deeper into the forest as they fight more goblins. Night comes in swiftly to land the ending blow while the enemies are incapacitated. Since they are in the wilderness, they have no other option but to enjoy the tough goblin meat. When not in actual combat, Luna and Yūya sharpen their skills with sparring and teaching each other new fighting techniques and tactics. Naturally, they all got stronger in the process. This is demonstrated when they team up to easily defeat a horde of high-level goblins. Yūya is impressed by her improvement, and she thanks the duo for the help in honing her skills. The Chad tells her that from the following day, he will not be able to train with her because of his school field trip. She's a little sad to hear that, but can't complain because he has done well by her as she expresses her gratitude. He also thanks her because he has learned a lot from her. Since it's going to be the last day, Yūya suggests they stay focused so that they can get most of the remaining training. The trio achieve their final session goal as Yūya relaxes in the bath with Night. He wonders why Luna allowed him to use the bath first. It all becomes clear when she enlightens him that he wanted them to use it together since it's their last day. Yūya starts to panic as she enters. Since he is a man of respect, he prepares to leave so that she can wash alone, but she hugs him from behind. While holding him, she expresses her gratitude for the way he has accommodated and nurtured her to get stronger. The lady feels like the whole experience has saved her. This confuses Yūya, who wants her to expand further. She explains that although it was a short while, Yūya showed her the brighter side of the world. The time they have spent together will be treasured by her. She offers to wash his back. Yūya turns around to talk to her, not knowing that she had a wardrobe malfunction. Luna gets embarrassed when it is made clear to her. The day of the trip finally arrives, and the classes are in their respective buses as they make their way to the field trip. In the back, Yūya and his friends play a game of cards to pass the time. They are all shocked that Yūya is always winning. The guy gets bored and decides to retire while he's ahead to get some sleep. It is revealed that he won because his luck stats are of a high level. After hitting the hay, he is woken up by his classmates. The guy steps down and he's impressed by the quality of the facilities. The teachers inform the students to change their clothes and assemble in the hall. She will be explaining how the off-campus trip works. After the students get settled in their rooms, they gather as instructed, where their tutor reveals that this training is to prepare the students for their future as elites. They are to survive 1 night and 2 days in the wilderness. With regards to food, they will be given only rice, but they are to forage and hunt for the rest of their meals. The mountain has an abundance of mushrooms and edible plants for them to select from, and for protein, there is a river teeming with fish. The students have a look of dread on their faces that they have to fend for themselves. Kaori asks how they are to differentiate between the edible ones and any dangerous mushrooms and plants since they are novice outdoors people. The teacher wants the students to show it to them before cooking, and if any slip through the cracks, they have their school doctor Ms. Yamakawa, who is on site to treat those cases. The doctor steps forward with a strange laugh and swirls a beaker of medicine, stating that all will be fine as long as she gets to administer its contents. Yūya is a little surprised that she's the school's doctor. Keith gives some exposition stating that Ms. Yamakawa's infirmary is always shrouded in darkness. Screams can always be heard when one passes close by it. Akira hints that he might go without food to avoid the dangers, but their teacher cuts him off and calls him a coward. Facing the dangers head-on is part of the coursework, and it's also a competition between the classes. She finally reveals that students' performance affects the bonus assessments of their homeroom teachers, so they should fight like their lives depend on it. The students begin to panic a little when they find out that they will be camping in the wilderness and not sleeping in the fancy facility. They are giving their tents and other basic supplies as they head out in their teams. While the others seriously inspect what they have been given, Akira is too busy giving himself hype. His teammates forget about him as they devise an action plan. Yūya and Ki are to go to the river to fish, while Akira and Kaori will look for edible plants and mushrooms. The fishing team arrive at the river to find it crowded with all the good fishing spots taken. However, Yūya uses his abilities to find a hidden place that has plenty of fish in shallow water. He takes his bucket inside and uses some of the training he learned from Luna to anticipate the fish moment and catches them effortlessly by hand. Everyone watches him in awe. Even when this guy is doing manual labor, he's still unconsciously rizzing girls. Keith has to stop him as he gets carried away catching too many fish. Meanwhile, Back in the fantasy world, Luna returns to the capital where she confirms that her skills are sharper when she removes the heads from some dolls swiftly. Yūya flashes in her mind as she acknowledges his beauty. It is revealed that Luna has lived as an assassin since she was a child and is covered in the residue of the one she has ended, but Yūya was covered in light. The girl wishes she met him earlier, but she's a professional slayer and accepts the reality that she is a member of the Dark Guild and is known as the Head Hunter. Luna puts on her mask knowing that she must say goodbye to Yūya. Meanwhile in the palace, Princess Lexia excitedly sets off to the darkest regions to meet Yūya again. That brings the episode to an end.